Every serious tuner will tell you the same thing. The dyno is the heartbeat of the shop. Turns your hard work, wrenching, into cold, hard, reliable data. It's a dream for many gearheads, like myself, to potentially one day own their own dyno and turn their favorite hobby into their dream job. And now, that dream could turn into a reality with a little help from the United States government tax code. Now look, before we get any further, Dynojet does not give tax advice. I'm not your accountant. Everything in this video is purely for educational purposes. Cool? Cool. Now with that being said, let's figure out how you can write off 100% of your dyno this year. Like one of these guys. On July 4th, 2025, Congress passed the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. Buried in that monster, Section 7301. Just a few lines that quietly resurrected the 100% first-year depreciation on new business equipment, as well as any R&D costs. Now, how does this work? Well, technically, qualifying property is defined as tangible equipment with a MACRS, or Modified Accelerated Cost Recovery System, life of 20 years or less. Dynos? Check. Upgrades and accessories for dyno? Check, check. This works for sole proprietorships, partnerships, S-corps, C-corps. Basically, if you own a business in the United States, it will likely fall under the changes in the new bill. There's no dollar cap, no income limit. Bonus depreciation can even push you into a loss that you carry forward. Now for an example, let's say you buy a $50,000 dyno. You can actually deduct that $50,000 now in this tax season and save roughly 10 to 15K in federal tax. And that's at the 21 to 30% tax bracket, which effectively slices 20 to 30% of the actual price immediately. So what's the catch? Well, honestly, not much. It has to be bought after January 19th, 2025 and in service before your tax year ends. So that means don't order at the end of the tax year and expect miracles to happen. It has to be a brand new to you dyno. So a used dyno, unfortunately, probably won't qualify unless it's new for US tax purposes. It has to be under active business use. Personal dynos not registered under some form of business probably won't count for you. The Act does not carve out any particular industries from the bonus. There are no exclusions specific to automotive repair or dyno use. It's also worth noting that as of now, no IRS regulations or official guidance on the new rules have been issued. Treasury or IRS typically follow in due course. So if you're interested, talk to whoever does your accounting and let them know that they should watch for IRS notices clarifying any ambiguity. Now for those of you who have been in the tax game before, it's at this point you might be thinking about the good old Section 179, which is another way to expense equipment. But the big story is, bonus depreciation is now unlimited and automatic. Section 179 also got a bump up to 2.5 million from 1 million, but the bonus depreciation has no cap and doesn't care if you create a loss. We'll talk about how they work together in just a second. With all that being said, let's clarify that you still have to cut a check for one of these bad boys. The only change is you get to deduct 100% of it in the same year that you start using it, which slashes your effective tax bill. If you decide to finance, the tax refund can actually help cover a really large chunk of your first year payments. That's how shops can end up cash flow positive in year one. So accountants still have that Section 179, which now has a $2.5 million cap. Section 179 gives fine-grained control and can be better for states that don't conform, but bonus depreciation is automatic and unlimited. Again, it's not limited to just the dyno either. You can look at fans, ramps, software licenses. If it's a tangible business property or off-the-shelf software that we offer, it qualifies. And when it's all bought together, things like professional installation, freight, rigging, on-site training, any classroom courses that want to be involved in that could be eligible for deduction as well. The new federal law is clear. States, though, not as much. Many states will roll with federal rules, and you'll get the same 100% write-off on your state return. However, some select states are on a fixed date or outright decouple from bonus depreciation altogether. So what does that mean? Just ask your accountant. Does my state conform to section 168K bonus depreciation in 2025? They'll have a good idea. We're not your advisors, and if you're unsure how to start that conversation, here's a quick script for you to get the ball rolling. Hey, we're buying a Dynojet dyno this year. I want to claim 100% bonus depreciation under section 168K. Does our state conform? Should we tag any items with 179 instead? That one email should save a few back and forth. Let's do a quick lightning round. Do I need profits to benefit? Not for bonus depreciation. It can actually create a loss for you to carry forward. Section 179 does need business income though. What if I lease? Well, if it's a $1 buyout or a capital lease, then usually you're treated as the owner and can expense it on your taxes. True fair market value leases, whoever leases it to you technically owns the asset and takes the deduction, not you. Can I split the deduction? Well, accountants can go through and choose whether they want to use bonus deduction or if they want to go through and use 179. It's pretty flexible. I'd let the pros optimize that one. If you're an international buyer, this is technically a US law, so if you don't pay US taxes, then unfortunately you don't get the US deduction. Make sure to check your country's incentives. UK, Canada, Australia, and lots of others have their own versions of it. Again, I'd like to finish this up. This is not tax advice. I'm giving you a roadmap so you can have the right conversation with whoever does your taxes. The big picture is, if you've been on the fence about a dyno, 2025 is the year that IRS basically said, go for it. If you want to learn more or talk with our team, hit the link below or just call the sales team. We'll walk you through it. I'm Tyler with Dynojet. Thanks for watching. Now let's go make some horsepower. My demise. Yeah. Okay, let's get this bread. Now you're probably wondering what is going on behind me here. We actually have Jerem, who's one of our shop guys. He's going through and building a roller for an automotive dyno. We've already custom knurled it and turned it down on the lathe. Right now he's actually sliding in the end discs, which are each manufactured and they have a tiny tolerance. It's like the width of a human hair. So what we're doing right now is we're actually heating it up. We call this the Tower of Fire. And what that does is it expands it and allows us to slip that end disc down into the top. And once that thing gets slid in place and welded up, the tolerances are so tight once it's cold that it's not going anywhere and it's a good quality weld. All right, so we moved again, and you're probably wondering, well, what's going on behind me now? Well, this is our lathe from World War II. We've got our machinist, Mike, who actually went through and just loaded up this drum. And what he does here is he goes through and faces the two sides, and then he goes through and does the entire outer diameter, makes that all shiny and beautiful, and then he'll go through and do the inner diameter, and that is where we go through and slide those end discs in. It has to be really precisely toleranced and machined so that we can go through and slide them in. After that, he'll go through and knurl it, and then it's a finished drum. We'll go through and paint it, weld it up, and we're good to go.